Mark Carney, the enemy at hand. Folks, if you haven't been watching the latest, I did a live yesterday morning, and I spoke to the fact that there's a point in time USA will have to make a decision coming very quickly on the latest with Canada and China. And I told everybody that the next thing would be military intervention when sanctions and trade embargoes hit maximum, the 100%, which is what Donald J. Trump's latest threats are against Canada, specifically Mark Carney and his New World Order, his Davos speech and agreement with Scott Moynihan on nuclear. And Trump responds very, very aggressively. Well, guess what? No sooner had I made that video, literally 3 hours later, U.S. to Canada Ambassador Pete Hoekstra tells Canadian media, tells the Canadian representatives under Mark Carney that if they don't commit to purchasing all 88 of the F35's, exactly what I said, USA will be positioning their fighters in our airspace as they see fit. That's complete loss of a country's sovereignty and airspace. And he specifically names NORAD, meaning all of our Arctic territory. This will be absolutely most, if not all, our crown lands right through up to the Arctic 3 territories. As I told you all, it only makes sense as escalations hit this epic level. For Mark Carney, everybody, as of yesterday late afternoon, according to Ambassador Pete Hoekstra, those numbers that are easily verified with AI require every Canadian working to see a 15% increase on your income taxes and another 2% GST. There is no other solution other than your government devaluing you at that epic annual rate, which is more than 17% devaluation. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or an average economist not to determine any other reality that you're going to enter second world and onward to a third world status. What does Mark Carney do yesterday? He releases a GST hiatus for 12 million Canadians on grocery funds, he says. Folks, all he's doing is devaluing all of you while he positions himself and his crown to save themselves. We're in epic trouble here. Hi, can I get an extra large double?
Extra double, definitely. Anything to go along with that?
That's it, thank you.
Alright, come on down. Thank you.
That's the reality we're at. As I stated, that any true, honest to goodness geopolitical analyst and economist would absolutely present those realities to you. Hi. You too. I'm back in training today, folks. That's why I'm able to do this on my breaks. It's good. For a week or two, maybe, if I'm lucky. It's good. But that's where we're at, everybody. And it's brutally scary. Our enemy at hand is absolutely Mark Carney, Mr. Communist Manifesto. And it's even worse than that, because these concessions that Mark Carney must make to hold Canada together requires you to sail past the most communist of communist states in the world in taxation. We will all work for literally more than 50% of our income just in income tax and goods and services taxes. Think about that. And I promise you, the government still won't deliver on any of the American requests or mandates. They never have, ever, on any taxation increases in Canadian history. You'll never find the government ever in Canadian history ever meeting any obligations, never mind the USA, its obligations to Canadians. They won't make them. It's an epic lie, and it's the end of Canada, and USA knows it, and they're being very, very vocal now about it today. It's going to be Canada the 51st state the hard way, the way I didn't want. And really, why is that? Because no media is honest. No appointed economists by the Crown are honest. They take a paycheck and are hired to lie to all of you. I'm giving it to you straight. We're in epic trouble, epic economic trouble, and we face a very, very uncertain future of high taxation and a massive cost of living. If no one's telling you that we're looking at going into a 17% combined taxation model or devaluation, you pick. Either way, the results are the same. Conservative or liberal, nobody can deliver on the promises that USA demands of us. Nobody. Because they can't cut their spending, they can't cut their government ballooning growth, and they're not going to. Extensive destruction of primary sector and massive implementation of a centralized government. We're in epic trouble and epic loss. It's to keep the wealthy elite rich at the detriment and expense of all the people of Canada in a massive majority. So many blind, so many foolish, and these folks who've never lived in communist regimes, how can you come to these terms? There's so many. We see the trolls yesterday. I've had so many. It's sick, it's gross, and it's sad. Share the video, get the truth out, because we're going to be losing our crown's sovereignty over us, which is a good thing, but the way it's going to be done is to our detriment. It's not the Canada, the 51st state we could ever want. It's a broken up Canada, an ugly looking Canada, and I don't think people realize that. It's north down with a mass population left in an unsustainable Canada without resources, natural resources that unfortunately Canada utilizes just to sustain this population and its corrupt government structure. Canadians largely don't know any better. We're all instituted into it. But to put in perspective, America runs on 1.5% of their GDP as natural resource. The overwhelming 98.5% of America's economy comes from the human resource. Canada is completely not the same. You see it from Alberta to Newfoundland, doesn't matter, BC, resources, 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 not the human beings, because you're not a factor. You never have been, and it's why we're a nation in decline. God bless everybody. Get the video shared out. Can't make this up. We're losing our airspace. As Mark Carney can't deliver, won't deliver, is too greedy, too corrupt to ever be able to deliver. Doesn't want to rewrite the system, doesn't want to admit that they're the problem. They want to continue to lie to the subjects and those they define as savages, who are going to be the ultimate payers of the ultimate price. And we are watching the end of Canada, not by USA, but by our own evil governments, provincially, territorially, and absolutely federally. They're all one and the same. Get this message out. Wake up as many as you can, because all source AI, when you look at what's demanded of us, what our government is capable of doing in its revenue structure, expense structure in our crummy system, it only spells more taxes, overwhelming taxes by the sad state of working class Canadians. God bless. That's my video. Get it out there. Bye now.